The following presentation was recorded live at the Richmond Marriott in Richmond, Virginia for the 29th Annual International Association of Square Dance Callers Convention. This is tape number 5, opening session.
It's 9 o'clock, or shortly thereafter. And today is March 25th, 2002, and this is Richmond, Virginia. At least I hope it is, because that's where I'm supposed to be at 9 o'clock on March 25th, 2002. Fellow callers, Mr. Chairman, partners, members of the Executive Committee, members of the Board of Governors, and guests, welcome to the 29th CALLERLAB Convention. We are very pleased to have you with us. I'd like to first introduce Dick Kurtz. He's the president of the Virginia Callers Association. Dick?
Thank you, Jerry. On behalf of the Virginia State Callers Association, I'd like to welcome you to Richmond and the state of Virginia and hope you have a very successful convention. But most of all, I hope you have a good time. That's the main thing. And if there's any assistance that we can provide, myself or our past chairman, Bob Worley, or our charter chairman, Dick O'Deck, just let us know, and we'll be glad to try and help you out. So have a good convention. Thank you much.
Very good. Thank you, Dick. It's now my privilege and pleasure to introduce to you the CALLERLAB Chairman of the Board, Mr. Jim Mayo.
I know, I saw him do it. We are very fortunate in CALLERLAB because we have the benefit of a very dedicated group of people who work behind the scenes, and they work quietly. They sometimes take a lot of guff. We don't always, in fact, we seldom see how much they do for us. And as we start this convention, I want to recognize and ask you to recognize the home office staff that keeps things working, that handles all the emergencies, and they do it with a smile, and they take a lot of criticism because everything that doesn't work out right is their fault. And we pay them, of course, but we don't pay them anywhere near enough. We can't afford to. They do it anyway. And many of you have already met the smiling face that's always there. Gail Swindle just does it all. And she has to do it with her husband looking over her shoulder because he's in the office too. John Swindle is there working away. He's up in the office, huh? And Tom Stone keeps track of the finances and does other helpful things, and they too do it all. And Jerry Reed came into this job from you can't imagine how many things can go wrong and how much of the blame always ends up right here. John Kaltenthaler knows, but it's really impressive. I've had the opportunity to visit the home office a couple of times during this year, and he's done a marvelous job of organizing it. And one of the things that he's done that few of you can have the direct opportunity to appreciate, when we get together for a board meeting or an executive committee meeting, we have lots of issues to deal with, and George White was a hard taskmaster and a hard worker and a diligent fellow, and he worked us totally. But when we came to the convention, he handed us a pile of paper, which was the background documents for all the issues we had to deal with. And then we'd start talking, and you'd spread out the papers, and every time we got to a new subject, you'd dig through the papers to try to find it. Jerry, when he came the first time, when it was his meeting to organize, came to us with a notebook. And each of the topics that we had to deal with was listed in order, numbered, and the backup documents were in the notebook with a sequential numbering on the bottom page and an item numbering on the top page. That one bit of organization saved us a third of the time that we spend working and made it possible for us to get through the workload that we have. There's no way you can ever appreciate how much that helped. And Jerry, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And behind every great man there is a great woman, and Dell is there helping him all the time. I want to welcome all of you. Jerry says I've got an hour and a quarter, and I just think I just blew a quarter of it. But I'm very, very pleased that you have come here. You're here because you care. We all care about square dancing. You are the ones who care enough to come and bring your energies and your concerns and to share in trying to spread the word about this great recreation we have. We have with us today, in addition to you, the delegates, representatives, some of whom are also delegates, but representatives from several of square dancing's national and international organizations. Would you please stand to be recognized as I call your name, and would the rest of you hold your applause until I've finished, and we'll give them a rousing round for all of them. Representing Legacy International, Doc and Peg Terrell. Way down back. From Legacy, Bob and Dottie Elgin. Right back there. And representing the National Executive Committee, Gene and Connie Triplett. From ROUNDALAB, Chuck and Sandy Weiss. Also from ROUNDALAB, Al and Linda Shaw, the Executive Administrator. Representing the USDA, United Square Dancers of America, Lyle and Jean Beck. Representing the 52nd National Square Dance Convention, Oklahoma City, Harry Nelson, General Chairman, Marvin Pierce, Vice Chairman, and Tom Stone, Program Chairman. That's not the same Tom Stone that we mentioned earlier. Representing USA West, Jim Maxco and Patty Wilson. The same ones. That's it. That's the whole list. How about it? Yeah. Square dancing is a community activity, and we work together. We have a joint responsibility, and we're very, very pleased that all of these folks can be with us to share with us our hopes for the future of the activity. The following associations are being represented by CALLERLAB members. Would you please stand and be recognized? And again, hold your applause until we've introduced them all. The Square Dance Callers Club of Great Britain, Trevor and Chris Day. Overseas Square Dance Association, Freddie and John Caldenthaler. International Association of Gay and Lesbian Square Dance Clubs, Andy Shore. CONTRALAB, Stu and Kathy Shacklett. There they are, way down back. Thank you also for your cooperation and participation. We go through this exercise every year and identify those who've been with us for a long, long time. If you're attending your very first CALLERLAB convention, would you please stand? We have 18 of them this year, and we're very, very pleased you could be with us. If you've attended at least 5 CALLERLAB conventions, would you please stand? Wow. And now, please remain standing until the number is more than your number of years of attendance. 6. Oh, within the ranks. 7. 8. 9. Can you all count that high? 10. 11. 12. 13. 14. 15. 16. They go slowly this way, don't they? 17. 18. 19. 20. I've seen these faces before. 21. 22. 23. 24. And a quarter of a century. 25. 26. These people have been around forever. You didn't put 27 on the list? Well, nobody's been here 27. 27? 28? Uh-oh. 29? Well, this is it. 28. That's right. 27 is missing, so it's 28. 28. So we have... John, that 28's the magic number? 28. 5 of us. Don't sit down. Don't sit down. 6. Herb Agander. Every CALLERLAB convention since 1974. Herb Agander, John Kaltenthaler, Malcolm Luttrell, Bob Osgood, Francis Zeller, and me. There's one face missing here. He is always the last one standing because he's been to more conventions than any of the rest of us because he also has been to every mini-lab. And he couldn't be with us now, but I understand he's going to try to be here because he doesn't want that record to fall. John Jones was unable to be with us at the start of the convention, but Vernon tells us he's going to try to get here before it's over just so he can keep his record intact. One other person that we didn't have on our list has also been here for everyone. She comes with Francis, Julia Zeller. Unfortunately, 2 others were destined to be here, but medical problems. Fortunately, neither of them, both of them have been addressed, but they intended to be here. Martin Mallard and Bob Howell were both supposed to be here. They had medical problems that kept them from being here, but they're both healthy and chugging along and will probably be here next year. On this 29th anniversary of CALLERLAB, we are also very pleased to have 4 members with us who have served as chairman of the board. Great Scott, 3 times. How about that? Bob Osgood, Mike Seastrom, and Larry Cole. And I've been here before, too. At the very first convention in St. Louis in 1974, there were 117 callers, and 11 of them are here today. Would you please stand and be recognized? Cal Campbell, Joe Casey, Herb Agander, Jerry Helt, John Kaltenthaler, Malcolm Luttrell, Bob Osgood, Ron Parrish, Norm Wilcox, and Francis Zeller. That's only 10. I was there, too. Unfortunately, every year there are a few who have left us during the previous year, and I'd like to ask for a moment of silence in recognition of those people. Thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to introduce the newly elected and re-elected members of the board. We have elections every year, and many board members rerun, but always there are new faces, and this year our newest face is a name well known. He's been chairman of our mainstream committee for a while, Dana Sherman. You get to start the line here. There are board members who have been re-elected to a 3-year term, and they are Clark Baker, and we ask you to come up, and Jerry's going to give you the oath. Doug Bennett, Tim Crawford, Larry Davenport, Bill Harrison, Jerry Justin, Tom Miller, and Nasa Shuker. You going to swear them in?
Yeah, we also asked
Oh, we get all the rest of the guys up there too. Okay, you guys, the rest of you get to stand in place. These are the continuing members of the board. Cal Campbell, Larry Cole, Betsy Gatta, Mike Jacobs, Vernon Jones, John Kaltenthaler, Tim Mariner, John Marshall, Jim Mayo, Mike Seastrom, Hal Stevens, and John Sobolski. We have 4 board members who could not make it this time, and they will swear the same things, I'm sure. Jerry Junk, Martin Mallard, Tony Oxendine, and Jerry Story. To administer the oath of office, Jerry Reed.
Thank you, Jim. I'll try to speed this up over the last couple of years. Actually, the first time I did this, I kind of didn't put the pauses in, so it's kind of a rat race. I've since added the pauses back in. If you would, please raise your right hand. I state your name. Accept this position of trust as a serious responsibility and pledge my services during my term on the CALLERLAB Board of Governors. I will put the welfare of my fellow members before my personal feelings. I will support the decisions of the majority and abide by the CALLERLAB Code of Ethics. All this I pledge as my support of the ideals of CALLERLAB. Congratulations, board members, and ladies and gentlemen, your 2002-2003 Board of Governors.
During the transition of our home office from Rochester to Florida, that transition occurred more suddenly than we had expected. We slipped up on an occasional detail, and one of those things was a recognition that is given to outgoing chairmen. And in this case, the outgoing chairman was one who had to take over suddenly with the departure of our previous chairman, and he got to take us through that transition and also through the moving of the home office from Rochester to Florida, which came upon us suddenly, and Jerry at that time was holding 3 jobs really, because he was, like most of us, holding down a full-time job and calling, and then we made him full-time executive director as well. To hold his hand and help him through all of that, we had a chairman who came into the job fairly abruptly, and one of the things that got overlooked was the presentation that is made to outgoing chairman of a plaque. And Larry, if you would come up here. Larry Cole carried us through some very difficult times, and he did it with a smile and with uncommon skill and ability, and it is my pleasure to present you.
Thank you, sir. It wasn't done without a lot of good help.
This year, the CDP committee chairman, Cal Campbell, again hosted a beginner party leaders seminar prior to the convention. This year, the size of that event just about doubled. There were somewhere between 40 and 50 people. They kept coming in and going out, and 10 staff people. This year we also invited members of the local education community to attend, and 7 local non-callers, most of them teachers, I believe, were able to attend. We plan to include this seminar as part of future conventions, and please talk to one of the staff members to get more information. We'd also like you to consider attending next year. The following members staffed this very successful seminar. We've done it before, but this year it was uncommonly successful. It really was exciting to watch, particularly some of the non-callers, teachers who came away with the ability to go back into the classroom and actually provide a dancing experience for their students. The leader of this activity is Cal and Judy Campbell. Butch Adams, Mill Dixon, Jerry and Kathy Helt, Greg Anderson, Bob Riggs, Jerry Hardy, Andy Pennock, Chuck and Rebecca Jaworski, Stu Shacklet, and myself all took part as leaders in this program, and we really would encourage you to take it, to consider trying it. It's a wonderful way to see some really experienced people explain how to give non-dancers a great time. How about a round of applause for all those people who helped out? Okay, each of them now get this? Is that what you said? No? Did I miss something?
Yeah.
Oh. Aha. They get some too? They're going to get these? Next year. We didn't. Aha. Okay. Where's the separate? Oh, skip. I see what you mean. Oh, I go here and then go back to there.
Right.
That's what this tab is for. Very good. You need coaching in this job. You really. The CALLERLAB Appreciation Awards were first presented at Virginia Beach in 1992. See, we're back in Virginia. Your executive committee designed the award, and it reads, "In grateful appreciation of your dedication and service to CALLERLAB, by giving unselfishly of your time, energy, and knowledge to support the goals and ideals of CALLERLAB. I will ask the award recipients to stand and remain standing when I read your name." They have already received these in their registration package. Is that the...
All except for 3.
All except for 3. And they will get theirs, I'm quite sure. Much of the work of CALLERLAB is done by our committees. Dedicated committee chairman and vice chairman are the people who make it happen within the committee structure. Your executive committee has approved presenting appreciation awards to outgoing committee chairman and vice chairman. And they are Clark Baker for the quarterly selection coordinator, Doug Bennett, vice chairman of the fundraising committee, Kathy Davenport, chairman of the partners committee, Dee Dee Doherty, chairman of the career callers committee, Kip Garvey, chairman of the program policy committee, Les Henkel, vice chairman, contra traditional committee, Tom Miller, vice chairman, career callers committee, Tom Miller again, vice chairman of the advanced QS committee.
You just can't keep a job.
I won't repeat it. He just can't keep a job. Bruce Mitchell is vice chairman of the Caller Association Liaison Committee. Jerry Story, chairman of the fundraising committee, and John Sobalski, chairman of the board book committee. A round of applause for all of these departing chairmen. We appreciate what you've done for us. Volunteers are the true angels when it comes to helping get things done. Last year in St. Louis, we had 2 volunteers who gave their time to help the home office staff during the convention. We didn't have a chance to thank them last year, and we'd like to thank them now. Paul Walker and Tom Rudelbach. CALLERLAB at the Foundation had a vendor booth at the 51st National Square Dance Convention in Anaheim. The home office manned the booth with only 2 people. We had requested members attending the convention to help out if they were attending and able to give some time. Several members did stop in at the booth to help, and they are Brenda Ackerson, Gene and Betty Baker, Randy and Lee Doherty, Jerry and Chuck Hardy, Bill Harrison, Mike and Michelle Jacobs, John Jones, Tom Mariner, Tom Miller, Joanne Mayo, then Tom Miller, we got him again. Wow, he gets around, and Tony Oxendine and Mike and Gail Seastrom. A very special thank you. And particular applause for Gene and Betty Baker, who were there pretty much nonstop. They were over 4 hours straight while we covered. The Women in Calling Committee recently completed a significant project compiling the top singing calls for 2001. The results of this project include a listing of these top singing calls and samples of the songs. The samples are available on either an audio tape or in a CD set of 2 CDs. 2 members volunteered many hours of work to complete this project, and we'd like to recognize their hard work at this time. Deborah Carroll Jones, who is the chairman, and Bill Hyman, who produced the master copy of the tape and the CDs. Very good, thank you. He's a big help. We would now like to invite our foundation marketing advisor, Jim Hensley, who will tell us about marketing and market research plans. Your turn, Jim. Don't run, we'll wait.
Just pick up that paper, and I don't know if you know it or not, but chewing gum is good for you now. It's supposed to make you smarter, improve your memory. I just, on the way out, I just picked that thing up and read it, and I just couldn't help but think about that 4th grade teacher of mine, Mrs. Vance. And wouldn't you love to just go back and, when she said throw away that gum again, just say, gotcha. Because now it has to do with the blood flow in your brain when you chew and all this kind of stuff. But, chewing gum is in, as so many things are. Last week, about this same hour, about this same day, matter of fact, I was in Chicago at a really interesting conference. The president of Coke was up here at this podium talking to 1,200 people who make an industry really move, the movers and shakers. And that industry is a sponsorship and event marketing industry, which was zero in business 15 years ago, and it's approaching $30 billion in business today. Now, the interesting thing is not that the growth of that is important to us, because we will be a sponsored entity one of these days. All things in your life will be sponsored in the next 25 years, including your life. But what was interesting was the fact that he said there's a real revolution going on in the economy. This is no longer a buyer-seller relationship, it's a supplier-user. And these users are interested in experiencing, and this is what they're about. And the proof, he said, was, think of Nike. Here's a company who has no ownership in bricks and mortar and equipment like a General Motors, and yet they're right up there near the top of the list. They own no buildings, employ no people, and yet they make a $1 shoe and take it and convince people, or your kids convince you to pay $125 for that. And it's not about buying a shoe, because you can buy a $30 shoe for your kid. It's about the Nike experience. This is why you pay an extra $75 for a pair of shoes. You're not buying a pair of shoes, you're buying the Nike experience. So experience is the driving force of the new economy. I know we don't have time to get into it now, only have 5 minutes, but the important thing is that you're the driving force of another experience, which is very critical and very important. And that experience is so important because the theme of this show is, of this particular convention, is teaching is fundamental. Now, we say very tritely and very often that square dancing is fun. Put the fun back in square dancing. All this stuff we always hear. But the truth of the matter is that that is the content and the message. And the form doesn't matter, is what this gentleman was telling us. That if you can stay with the content and with the message, that's what's important. And he went on to say a lot of other things that really made me feel good, because it tells me now that businesses in this country no longer have an option on whether or not they're going to align themselves with activities and events which people feel good about. 80% of the people in this country will walk into a grocery store and buy a product because they think the company who makes it is favoring or in favor of or is sponsoring some kind of cause that they like, appreciate, and enjoy. We have a couple of really important causes. One of them, the most fundamental one, is fitness. We have to position this activity to make sure people see it as a fitness activity because that's a cause. And the other one, of course, is the activity of maintaining and preserving the historical aspects of what we do. And you think that's not important, you're crazy. There's 500,000 to 1 million people every year who engage in a thing called living history, reenactment. And there's a lady I met last night at the reception. And this is what she does full time. She runs over and reproduces shows, dances, in a period way. She does 3 centuries in 1 hour, 3 different types of old dances. So there's a lot of ways to present this activity in these new ways, in these new forms, in these new experiences of fitness and also historical. People want to re-experience that experience, and that's what they're paying for. So we have to continue to understand that what we have is a really important activity here because it does provide for an experience. All we have to do is make sure we can find a way to present that as it is a cause, because cause marketing is the #1 type of marketing in this country today. People go out, buy things because, not they need them or not because they particularly wanted to, but because they really want to support the companies who are sponsoring their kind of causes. So it was a very exciting meeting for me. I'm completely turned on about the fact that we have a sponsorable activity, and all we have to do is make sure we hang on to that fundamental aspect of the content and message is having a good time, because basically what he wound up saying was, we're looking for deep fun. Everyone is. And we've got deep fun. Thank you.
Very brief. Okay. At this time, I'd like the committee chairman or vice chairman to come to floor mics and take a couple of minutes, just a couple of minutes, less, to tell us what they will be discussing at their committee meetings. If you're a committee chairman having a meeting, please introduce yourself and tell us what you're going to be talking about at your committee meetings. And if you'll just line up, Skip, you get to be first in line.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Skip Brown from Portland, Maine. I'm chairman of your Plus Committee, 182 members, and we've got room for another 1,800, so we'd like to have you all there. And I think the Plus Committee is kind of critical to some of the problems we're going through in square dancing these days. We have a meeting this afternoon at 3:30 in Salon H. I'd like you all to come and listen and maybe help us solve some of these problems and move ahead into the future. Thank you.
My name is Bev Sutter, and I'm the new Partners Committee chair. And this afternoon at 3:30, we're going to have, it says informal. At that informal, we're going to do some map reading and techniques how to get lost and find your way back. I know you got the got lost part down. We're going to try to help you find your way back. Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, we have an excellent program by Ann Wass, and she's going to do a program on history of attire of square dancing, and this version is the women's dress. She's presented this nationally, so we know that in the costumers committee, so I know that this will be good. And at 10:45 tomorrow morning, introduction to CPR. Look around you. 1 out of 5 is going to have a heart attack. You want to be the one that can help them until somebody else can get there. 78% of the time, the person you do CPR on is somebody you know. So at least you can do something to help them until big help gets there. Partners Committee, 3:30 on Tuesday. We have information for tours in Texas. So if you're interested, partners, in going on a tour in Texas, let me know.
Good morning. Jim Wass, Accreditation Committee. The Accreditation Committee is in the process of reviewing the General Caller Accreditation Program. In fact, at our meeting, we will be marking up a draft of a document proposing revisions to the program. So we look forward to seeing you at our meeting for that purpose, and in keeping with the theme of this convention, Teaching is Fundamental, we'll also take some time to answer your questions about Square Dance Teacher Certification. All of that happens tomorrow, 10:45, and Gail, Jerry, help me out. Is this Salon I or Salon Roman numeral 1?
Yes.
Look for the poster board signs out in front of the meeting room.
Roman numeral 1.
It is Roman numeral 1. Okay. The Accreditation Committee. It's I. It's Roman numeral 1. It's one of those.
If that doesn't work, try
all
I.
of you interested tomorrow at 10:45. Thanks.
Jerry Hardy, I'm representing two committees this morning, the Women in Calling Committee as Vice Chairman and the Education Committee as Chairman. The Women Calling Committee will be meeting 9 o'clock on Tuesday morning in Salon I, and we'll be discussing our newly created Top 35 Singing Calls for Women. I'd also like to call your attention to a voice session, especially for Women in Calling. That will be in Salon 1 and 2 with Professor Arden Hopkin on Tuesday, that same day, at 10:45. And the Education Committee will be meeting in the Commonwealth Room at 1:30 on Tuesday, and we'll continue to revise the newly created Calls in the School handbook. We hope to have it really completed this year, and please attend if you're interested in calling in the schools. Thank you.
I am Paul Hinsey, Chairman of the Caller Coach Committee. We'll meet tomorrow in the Dominion Room at 3:30. Here's a couple of things that we need to look at. Jim Mayo will be coming in and working with us on a one-night dance information. We need to vote on an adequacy review change. If John Jones gets back, we'll be looking at some questions on our oral exams. And for those of you that love to come in and talk with us for Caller Coach accreditation, we'll have two informals this year. One will be Monday today at 1:30 in the boardroom. Is this the 18th floor? Is this correct? Okay. And then Tuesday at 10:45 will be another informal, also in the boardroom in the 18th floor. So if you'd love to see what caller coaching is about, please come see us then.
John Calvin Tyler, Caller Training Committee, 1:30 on Tuesday in the Dominion Room. We have our meeting. We're going to be discussing the issues that affect square dancing, and we have a whole list of topics. We have completed the session on the best of CALLERLAB tapes, and we'll have further announcements on that during this convention.
Elmer Claycomb, that old man. No. Choreographic Applications Committee. We're in the midst right now of updating the standard application books for both mainstream and plus. And what is going on with that is to be looking at what may have changed in terms of just that, what are standard applications throughout the country. And we need input from a lot of different people, not just the callers that are traveling callers, professional callers, but you that call in local venue, to what you think are changes in standard, accepted, normal, what we call applications in your area. There are three ways that you can get your input to us. Number one, we have the choreographic application meeting at 10:45 in Salon 8. That'll be for the actual committee meeting, and that would be the appropriate place if you can get there. The second time is we have a panel discussion on use of standard applications at 1:30 in Salon 6 and 7. Both of those are today. And that's another place you could come and let us know where you think there may be changes in those standard applications. And the third time is by sending your information to me. So we'd love to have you come and let us know whether we've got things in that should not, or if there's other things that we should add.
Chuck Jaworski, Vice Chairman of the Advanced Committee. We'll be meeting Tuesday morning, 9 o'clock in the morning in Salon 8. We will discuss the recent vote on the combining or not combining of A1 and A2. We'll talk about the biennial review, which we finished last year, and other subjects that you might bring up. If you call advanced or interested in calling advanced, please show up Tuesday morning, 9 o'clock, Salon 8.
My name is Norm Wilcox. I'm chairman of the Advanced Quarterly Selection Committee. The quarterly selection program has been a large part of CALLERLAB for many, many years. We feel it's now at a crossroads. There's a joint meeting of the Mainstream Plus and Advanced QS committees right after this one meeting, 10:45 in Salon H. We plan to discuss the future of the quarterly selection program. Where do we go from here? On Tuesday afternoon, there is a meeting of the Advanced Quarterly Selection Committee in Salon 8, and we'll continue the discussion and see how what we decide this morning, if we can decide, will apply to us as an Advanced Quarterly Selection Committee. So if you're calling advanced and have an interest in quarterly selections as to what they mean and what they are, come on out and give us your support. Thank you.
Hi there. I'm Joe Frisella from Rhode Island. Hey, little day, little do, little do, 5 o'clock this afternoon, be there.
Go ahead, Nasser.
Have you got cleavage?
Nasser Shuker for the Grant Writing Committee, Tuesday at 10:45 a.m. in the Dominion Room. We're narrowing in on finding sponsors and corporate grants. If you have experience, come help us. If you want to get some free experience at CALLERLAB's expense and then parlay that into a high-paying job, Dominion Room, 10:45 a.m. Tuesday.
I'm Cal Campbell, and our committee has been renamed to the Committee for Community Dance as of this convention, largely because our responsibilities have changed over the last several years, and we felt the name should reflect the responsibilities. We're the group of people that deal with the community dance program, with beginner parties, and as of a resolution last night, it looks like starting to deal with the easier forms of square dancing as a general category. So if you've got an interest in this area, come on by. We have got a tiger by the tail on this seminar. You know, we got the educational community in. It was co-sponsored by the National Dance Association this year. Next year, we hope to be able to get to the recreational department community to be able to start bringing these people in and giving some training. So come to the committee meeting. I'll tell you a little bit about what happened with these 7 teachers that showed up, and it's exciting, folks. Extremely exciting. Tuesday, 9 a.m. Commonwealth.
I'm Darrell Clendenin. Good callers don't have to yodel. But I do. I resemble that remark. No, all kidding aside. Al Stevens, I'm the chairman of the Overseas Advisory Committee. We had at the Board of Governors meeting last night, we addressed an issue that I feel is very important for CALLERLAB. We are an international organization. However, our reputation seems to be sliding outside the boundaries of North America. And we would like to call a meeting for all of the callers that are here from the overseas area to see if we can't reverse that trend and get the image of CALLERLAB back to where it was when I joined in 1976. And I think we're looking for your help to try to get the train back on track again. Thank you. Oh, we'll be meeting in Salon G at 10:45 today. Got it all? Thank you.
I'm Dana Shermer, chairman of the Mainstream Committee. The Mainstream Committee will meet this afternoon at 1:30. Salon H. We have several things on the agenda, one of being an ad hoc committee to review biannual choices for adds and deletes, as well as several other topics, and I encourage all Mainstream Committee members to be there. Those that are not members, please come anyway and join. Thank you.
Can everybody see me? Okay. Tom Miller, Chairman of the Fundraising Committee. Our committee will be meeting tomorrow afternoon at 3:30 in Salon 1. We are going to be talking about long-range fundraising as well as fundraisers for next year's convention in San Antonio. At this year's convention, we do have the raffle that is being held throughout today and tomorrow. It will be given away tomorrow night. We have 3 prizes. That is a single convention package with airfare and travel, the travel and lodging not included. And the second prize is a Sony mini disc tabletop recorder, and the third prize is on the ticket. It has Sub-Zero, so it's good for anywhere you go to in Alaska or anything like that. But it's a Zero briefcase that has been donated by GSI, an $850 value. Those tickets are $5 each. 5 tickets for $20, and that will be given away at Tuesday Night Banquet. Anybody has tickets, raise your hand. See those folks? Perfect. So we ask you to come. If you have any ideas for fundraising events or ideas, we appreciate if you'd come to the meeting on Tuesday afternoon. Thank you.
Vernon Jones, Chairman of the Caller Association Liaison Committee, will be meeting today at 10:45 in the Commonwealth Room, which I'm sure is in this building somewhere. We been given several projects from the Executive Committee, the Issues Committee, the Past Chairman's Committee, and we are expecting more from the Marketing Committee on Tuesday. We're going to be tasked with getting the information that they have given us and taking it to the Callers Associations, whether they be affiliated or non-affiliated, and the Dancer Associations. If you are interested in helping do that kind of a project, we solicit your help greatly. Thank you.
Jerry Justin, Chairman of the Extended Applications Committee. This was an ad hoc committee that was formed over a year ago to investigate the creation of a document dealing with the logical progression of the difficulty through extended applications. And over the last year, we have completed and submitted to the EC our structure and everything and philosophy, and everything's been okayed. Now we need some more members, and I'd like you to come to this meeting. Because now we start the hard part. We have to put it together, and we need your input as to the logical progressions and everything for all of these setups, for all of the moves, and this is through Mainstream and Plus. And our meeting is in the Dominion Room, first thing in the morning on Tuesday.
Mike Seastrom, Chairman of the Marketing Committee. Our meeting is 3:30 this afternoon in Salon G, which is on the street level. As many of you know, the Phoenix Plan is well underway. We have an awful lot more work to do with the Phoenix Plan, and it's interrelated with our fundraising and with other committees and other organizations. We're at a critical point, and if you have experience in this area or would like to help pass the word along and get this marketing plan in motion, we'd love to have you attend our meeting. Thank you.
I'm Stu Shacklett, the Chairman of Traditional and Contra Committee. Our meeting this afternoon at 3:30 in Salon 8. We'll discuss traditional and contra dancing and how it can be implemented into your square dance programs to provide variety. If you're interested, come and join us. We'd love to have you. Thanks.
Clark Baker for Definitions Committee. We're going to have a meeting sometime at the convention. It's in your packet, and we're in the middle of a about 80% through, I'd say, the mainstream definition rewrite. If you're on the committee or if you have an interest, you're welcome to attend, and I hope to see you there.
My name is Michelle Jacobs. Today at 5 o'clock, there's a Birds of a Feather session on calling for handy-capable square dance clubs. If you don't know what a handy-capable club is, if you call for one, if you've seen handy-capable clubs, please come out and share. I'd like to see you there today, 5 o'clock, in the Capitol Room.
I'm John Jones from Texas. Since John is not able to be here, he asked if I would go ahead and chair the application review committee. And this committee is charged with reviewing and publishing decisions regarding proper and improper usage of questionable applications, definitions, and arrangements. Anyone interested? Salon G. Thank you.
Vic Cedar, Vice Chairman Challenge Committee. Tomorrow at 10:45 in the morning, we'll be discussing C1, C2, and C3A challenge stuff.
Good morning, Jack O'Leary. And have you ever heard a song on the radio and you might say to yourself, gee, that'd make a great singing call? Join us at 5 o'clock tomorrow in Dominion, and we'll take you through the process of how an idea gets to be a singing call.
Dick Mazziotti, Chairman of the Program Policy Committee. This is a secret committee that is going to figure out what's going on with square dancing over the next 5 years. We're meeting in Salon 8 at 3:30 on Tuesday.
As I said to them this morning, these are the people who make our conventions work. They do the real work. Our committees are the heart and soul of CALLERLAB, and they are our best hope for the future. We hope that you'll take an active part. We have one set of sessions that we've had at many conventions. We unfortunately missed it last year for reasons we won't explain. But Arden Hopkin got introduced to square dancing down in Texas many years ago when the Callers Association invited him to come and talk about voice. Since then, he has learned a great deal about square dancing and square dance callers, and has shared with us at several conventions his great skill as a teacher of vocal technique. He, as he has come to know more about us, his help has become more direct and specific, and this year, I think this is the first time we've done it, isn't it? We've offered, in addition to the several sessions that he's doing that are listed on your program, the one was mentioned for women, he's doing another one for caller coaches, but we have set up individual sessions of 20 minutes each, and they were announced and sold before we got here. But Arden is a very skilled and talented voice coach who knows our business and is able to help, and I would recommend that you go to his sessions if you can make them. Arden, are you in the room? I don't think he is. He's sleeping in. Last chance. He is here. This year, he has been cited. Yeah, right. No wonder we couldn't find him. This year we have a special feature. CALLERLAB has some clocks, big wall clocks that are lovely. I have one up over my desk at home, and it's been keeping time steadily for several years. And we're this year going to give away 5 of them. 5 of them. And you have the names of everyone present in the box. And Joanne, would you come and draw 5 winners for us? 5. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The winners can pick up their clocks at the desk anytime, right? Mill Dixon, you're a winner. Bob Pointer. Al Shaw from ROUNDALAB. Right on.
That will be proudly displayed in the ROUNDALAB office.
We'll love it. And then the offices of American Square Dance, Pat Jouer can display hers. George Edwards from Michigan. 5 winners. Come by the registration office and pick them up, and if you were not a winner, we are able to offer you a special bargain deal. We have a few more, and you can acquire one for $10. the list price has been $25, but special bargain. Jerry does not want to take them back to Florida with him. Yeah.
Jim, we will very proudly display the clock in the office of the Square Dance Foundation of New England in Manchester, New Hampshire. We have a museum archives there. If anybody's interested, talk to us. Talk to Jim. Jim knows what we have.
I surely do. I've been very appreciative of that. I interrupted a project I've been working on to write a book about the history of modern square dancing. I interrupted it for a year to take this job, but I have spent a lot of time in the facilities of the New England Foundation researching. They have a wonderful collection and a lot of dedicated volunteers that put in a great deal of time to organize that information so that it is available to somebody who wants to do the research. I very much appreciate it, and I'll be happy to be able to tell time while I'm there. I don't believe they have a clock now. It's a privilege to be the chairman of this organization. I have been here before, but I had no idea at that time what it would become and what a tremendous impact it would make on our favorite activity. Modern Western square dancing is a powerful recreation. It's potentially very popular, and it can be offered in many different formats. Most of us know it as a club-based activity. Over the last decade, this club-based form of modern square dancing seems to be less popular than it has been in the past. 20 years ago, both the number and size of square dance clubs were growing nearly everywhere, and that's no longer true. Some of our growth problems can be blamed on changes in modern society. The complicated, difficult-to-learn recreation that we have developed is not an easy sell. Folks today want their fun more casually available. Some of our troubles, however, fall on our own shoulders. We have a sort of tunnel vision. We can only see square dancing in one format. Most of us in CALLERLAB even have some trouble recognizing traditional square dancing as a related activity. Most callers think that one-night parties are okay for those who like that kind of thing, but their greatest respect and admiration goes to the callers who deliver fancy choreography to the most dedicated dancers at festivals and weekends. I've spent much of this year as your chairman trying to encourage a new view. This is my last chance to speak to you directly. I want us to see and cherish the incredible versatility of square dancing. Ours is a product that can be offered in a wide variety of formats. The modern club requires at least a year of training. Our traditional callers welcome newcomers with virtually no experience. Many of us have found that parties for folks who've never square danced can be very rewarding. All of these are square dancing. If we look at the whole of square dancing as a single product that can be offered in many forms, we find what corporate America would call a hole in the product line. The missing piece in our product line is a program of modern square dancing that can be quickly learned. It would have to be much easier than mainstream, something that could be learned in no more than a half a dozen lessons. It would be modern square dancing with choreography that can't be anticipated and that exercises the head as well as the body. It should be as much fun as the first few weeks of class. We tried to offer that product. More than a decade ago, we invented the community dance program, but it never was successful. I can think of a couple of reasons for that. One is that most of us were so busy calling for mainstream and plus clubs that we never gave it a real chance. Another is that the CDP program wasn't really modern square dancing. It didn't encourage the choreographic surprises that most of us callers love. It's time to try again to fill the hole in our product line. Modern square dancing is fun even when we're using only 10 or a dozen calls. We have oversold the need for variety. Folks who are dancing once or twice a month don't need much variety, particularly if we let them dance with the music. A dance like this doesn't have to compete with modern club square dancing. It would be aimed at people who are not willing to make that much commitment. There are plenty of callers who serve the needs of club square dancing. The shortage is in callers willing to help fill the hole in our product line. Most of us have all the tools we need to serve this market, at least for a beginning. Where is the market? Right now, it's hard for most of us to find. It's got to be developed from occasional one-night parties. Maybe it grows out of a group of friends that you offer it to for a one-night party. Maybe it grows out of a church couples club or a community recreation department. The callers who are doing one-night parties don't seem to have much trouble getting work. Ed Gilmore told us way back when, find some people and do what you have to do to get them. It might still work. The key to my vision of success is that we don't try to turn every dancer, every person that comes through the door, into a mainstream or more club dancer. I'd like to see us try to sell a new type of modern square dancing that doesn't require the dedication and commitment that we now see as the minimum we can accept. I'd like to find out whether there are still some folks out there, like the thousands who tried what we offered and found it too demanding. We don't need a new program. All it takes is a new attitude. As a first cut at how this might work, I would suggest that we could teach what we usually offer in the first 3 nights of class, and then see how much dancing we can provide without adding any new calls. Sure, it's great if we can do some simple contras and an easy round dance or two, but they're not essential on the first night. With 10 calls, we can offer a huge variety of modern square dancing. The only real change is that we would have to get over our nearly universal belief that every dancer has to be challenged most of the time. Just maybe a bunch of the folks we've lost over the years are the ones that mostly wanted to move in time with the music in the company of their friends. I thank you for listening to my hopes for a bright square dance future. For this convention, we have planned several sessions that will help you to find a place in that future. We hope you'll enjoy the convention and the fellowship that is still the greatest reward that square dancing has to offer. I thank you much. Jerry?
Thank you, Jim. As always, wise words. Thank you. Just a few administrative notes. First of all, after the session we get done here, I need to see Butch Adams and Chuck Jaworski after we're done here. Also, many of you probably haven't noticed this, but some people I hope have. When we moved to Florida, shortly after we moved to Florida, we changed the opening time for the home office from 9:30 to 8:30. Tom Stone, our financial manager, asked if we could do that, and he's an early morning person, and I said that would be great. That way we can expand the office hours by an hour without adding anything to the salaries. So that was a win-win situation. And since he's the bean counter, he appreciates that also. But he does have to get up early and get started. And there's a lovely lady who helps him do that by helping him out of the bed. And that person is Elaine Stone. You've also seen her at the sales portion also. If you haven't seen her, go by and see her and buy something. I saw John in here earlier. He wasn't in here when we did the announcements. He was off working. John Swindle? He's off working, so good. And let's see. Who put this thing together here? After the after party last night, the system was broken down and carried away, and one of the microphones went with it. If you were involved with tearing down the sound system in the after party last night, see John Swindle, and we need to talk about that microphone. Let's see, for the committee meetings and committee voting procedures, I'll just briefly run through those. The committee chairman have been provided a list of committee members. Committee members must have been a member of the committee at least 30 days prior to the convention to vote on committee matters. and this is so that the people that just come to the convention just jump in and vote. We want to try to not have that happen. You're always welcome to join discussions and partake of any straw votes that are taken. One of the policies, the administrative policies that we have set up around the committee structure is that since most of the work done by CALLERLAB is done by committees and most of that work is done by mail, the committee votes at convention cannot override a committee decision made by mail during the year. What would happen is a straw vote would be taken, the issue would be sent back to the committee for another vote. If you're interested in running for the board, pick up a petition from either Gail or the convention registration desk. Those requirements are: you must have been an active member for a minimum of 3 years. You must obtain 25 signatures of 25 active member signatures. Wednesday morning, you'll be provided a few minutes to give your campaign speech and pay the bribes that you want to pay. Oh no, that's not in here. This year we'll be electing 8 new board members. We'll be filling 8 board positions. Petitions must be turned in to the Home Office by June 1st, and you must submit a biographic resume and photograph by that time. The exhibitors are down in Monroe, Jefferson, Madison. On the lower level, see your convention package for a map. Go down, visit, take money, leave with stuff. All interest sessions, we've mentioned this before many times, and we will continue to do so. All the interest sessions are being recorded by Convention Tapes International. It's very important. It's critical. This is very important. This is important. When you ask a question or when you give an answer, make sure that you are using the microphone. If without the microphone, it does not go on the tape. We will have remote microphones in each of the sessions so we can carry the microphone to you. See Convention Tapes International. They have a booth set up upstairs, opposite the registration area. Order your tapes here. They are invaluable. When I'm ready to start reviewing a subject, I go back and listen to some of those prior tapes and the history that's on those tapes. We talked this morning. John said we started taping those in 1980, so there's 22 years of tape history there. I go back and listen to people like Jack Murtha and Jack Lasry and words from the past that are still true today. So order your tapes, get them here. You'll save the shipping. Critique sheets are very important. You should have been a critique sheet in your package. Turn those in at the end of the convention or earlier if you wish. If you got one that was already filled in, that was on purpose, just go ahead and turn that in. We always have to have a few perfect ones. But be sure you turn in those critique sheets. That's what the Convention Planning Committee uses to plan the next year's convention, so it's very important that you provide us your input. One of our members has asked me to talk about hotel etiquette. If you're roaming the halls at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and you're going in and out of your room, if you could maybe just not let the door slam, just close it gently, that would be much appreciated. The BOG informals are set up for you. This is your opportunity to sit down one-on-one with members of the Board of Governors and tell us what you think. That's very, very important also. We need to know your thoughts on whatever we're doing, whatever your organization is doing, what your part is, whatever your thoughts about square dancing, about CALLERLAB, any thoughts that you've got. This is your opportunity to talk one-on-one with a member of the Board of Governors, and we do review all of those comments and have taken action on those comments. There is in the direction we have for the Caller Training Committee. I want to apologize to Betsy Gata. Her name is actually misspelled in there, and it looks a whole lot like Deborah Carroll Jones. The spell checker didn't catch that, so sorry, Betsy, wherever you are. The website committee is listed as having a meeting at 10:45 in Salon G, that meeting has been canceled. Al Stevens has already announced that the Overseas Advisory Committee will meet in that room at 10:45 in Salon G. Birds of a Feather sessions are set up again as special interest sessions, so partake of those if you wish. If you have ideas for Birds of a Feather sessions, make sure that you do put those down on your critique sheet, and we'll take a look at those. Some of you checked into the hotel and would like to have stayed or are going to stay over on Thursday after the convention, and some of you were told that the convention rate does not apply on Thursday. That was not correct information. The convention rate does apply on Thursday, so if you're staying over on Thursday and they've told you you're going to pay the normal rate, see the front desk. If you still have a problem, see Gail, and she'll straighten it out for you. Luncheon today will be the first of 6 meals that are in your convention package. Tomorrow we have breakfast from 7 to 9. Your badge is your meal ticket, so make sure you come with your badge. If you have special or diet meals, make sure that you bring those meal tickets with you and that you give them to the wait staff. Please don't take a regular meal in place of the special meal. Also, please do not tip up chairs to save a chair for your friends that are coming in a little bit later. It's very dangerous for the wait staff, and they can easily trip over those chairs. So please don't tip those chairs up. If you want to sit with a particular group of people, come with them. If you're embarrassed to do that, just follow behind them at a safe distance. It's now time for the first of 4 beverage breaks that we're going to have. The next sessions will begin at 10:45. We hope that you have an enjoyable, education, and pleasant convention. Remember, your badge is your meal ticket. Please remember, no food, no exceptions. All right, thank you very much.